Look at me. This is a Flyquest broadcast. It's Monday, February 23rd, 2026, and today I'm joined by Marky. Marky, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Floofies. It's great to be back. It's great to be back joining a little fashionably late to the season. I will say we're creeping up here on the end, but disappointingly back to the best of ones. You know, I can say I've had beef with ESEA League for that reason, but I don't know. It's been a little bit sad, bittersweet off season. I remember I was over in Belgrade when I heard the news of, maybe before it was officially announced, because, we were all, in that state of mind, Floofies. We were hearing the news where it was coming out. It was the off season, the murmurs of everything. And I heard that Goose Breeder was taking a step back, but that Fox, in that same vein, was getting that call up to Flyquest. And I got so excited to hear that news. I honestly thought this was the way Flyquest was going to go before bringing Marie in this summer. But, honestly, that's old news. They got one of Goons on the tag tonight, and this is a big matchup that they got to win to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's looking like 7 is going to be the final number that is actually going to be viable for making it into playoffs. So
Really?
the problem is going to be just what's up ahead, right? Wanted Goons is, I feel like, an amuse-bouche to the main course that we're going to have later this week of Lag and Foxtrot. It's just going to be just banger after banger after banger. So if the girls aren't ready, they're going to get a little bit blasted, but we'll have to see because, hey, they've come this far, right? The good news is we are officially out of relegations. We're not going to have to worry about that next season. Back in advanced. Hopefully the VRS hasn't fallen too far, so Dust2 and ECL are still going to be on the table. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for Flyquest Red to continue to gel. I think the big thing has just been not only a new player, but multiple role swaps, right? You were talking about Marie in the pre-show a little bit. She's been fitting in IGL pretty well.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I mean, where I've gotten to watch along for this, I remember peering into a interview with BB, I think right at the beginning of the season where, she was talking about that and kind of just spoke about the reason being that, this is a team with a lot of experience that will prompt up, a ton of ideas and conversation with it. But Marie, if you've ever met her or spoken or seen her in an interview, her personality is larger than life. I think even BB put it like that. She's just so full of energy and I think happy to lead this squad of girls. I think did it with no complaints. And so far it's been pretty satisfactory, but as you were kind of telling me before we went live, it hasn't been good enough to the Flyquest standard.
Yeah, especially considering the last few seasons, we've almost 100% expected Flyquest to enter playoffs. This might be the first season in a few that they haven't. But again, they managed to take their biggest rival's best player and now are trying to integrate around her. And it's something different for Fox, and it's something different for Flyquest.
Yeah, and when I got to actually watch Alice playing CCT, she had a pretty good debut on that op, watching with Sakura, Shimmer. I'm pretty sure they're still signed. I know they still are. You get this pistol round breaking out. It's Killer Pandas in this One of Goons roster that's been a core for about 1 year and 4 months. These 4 players got rid of KMZ. Added J-Dubs in the offseason, but playing with Constantine so far through this ESEA season I've seen. Marie swing through upper tunnels. She'll get shut down. BB peeking through the smoke immediately, Floofies, but it's a pretty good hold from One of Goons here on this B site.
Yeah, Constantine is an interesting pickup. I've seen him on several different pug teams over the course of this season, so I was curious to see where he'd actually end up landing, and it looks like, I guess, One of Goons, which is a good team for him. Like you said, they've been together for a while. So again, the same sort of pick up a new piece, slot it into the puzzle, see how it works out. I think that he's been proving himself to be a solid shooter down in this advanced level.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think like with the batch of players, like around a like a tier 3 level of North America, where like a lot of these teams are playing at in advanced. It's about like we know a lot of these players can shoot at this point, but it's about like finding the right mix that will stick together for a year and 4 months. You know, that's what I've been saying, sort of making my opinion up at this Wanted Goons roster. And I was a little bit blunt to you. Like I said, I keep mentioning our conversation that we had off camera, even assuming that everybody watching could have heard it. But what I was saying is that I think Wanted Goons are a team that should be way, way better. I remember watching them this summer playing Thunderpick with this core of 4 players with, I believe it was KMZ, like I was saying at the time. And honestly, KMZ, a player with a lot of experience, but kind of bouncing around from team to team, nothing like too permanent, like as of like too recent before like joining up with Wanted Goons. And I'm pretty sure he's with another team now. I'm not too certain on that. I could get on HLTV and check for you. But I don't know, just not bringing the results that you would expect from a team that is stuck together for this long. I mean, falling out of ECL, like that's definitely not something you want to see. A Wanted Goons brand is definitely a classic one here in NA. I love the people over there. They're good people and always a great face to see in the advanced scene. It's, you know, a point that I think this organization wishes they were pushing past. And I think that's a fair thing to say, but they got good minds leading this squad. Shout out to Frack, the head coach of the team. Good dude.
Big shout outs to Frack. Fellow caster, fellow talent, fellow... Yeah, friend of the show, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, you're right, though, is like last year, Wanted Goons were playing up with Flyquest Red and a lot of other teams in ECL, and it was a little bit hard to see them falling out of that. Again, especially as they're one of the mainstays of North American Tier 2, right? The teams that constantly make deep runs in qualifiers and make high placements in advanced. I mean, it'll be interesting to see this season, though, because with the way that all ESEA is going to provide entry into VRS if the team doesn't have it, I think it's going to be a huge deal to see what teams make it through the playoffs and actually get those VRS points.
I agree. I think there's a lot of good teams that, like you talk about at that level, that are playing in advanced, that, I mean, and confirm for me, shows how much I know. There's no VRS going on down here, right? Right.
So as far as I can tell from reading through the rules, there's no VRS up until we get to playoffs. And then at playoffs, it sounds like everything at the bottom will play through playoffs. Hold on. Let's just see what happens here on Cat. Magic just going to dominate. Blow through rate 2. Beyond responds, but this stack on Cat for Flyquest Red, I think, is about to just get rolled over here by Wanted Goons. I would expect. Marie picks up the MAC-10, though. There could be something happening here. She hears the company over next to her, and Killer Panda's just going to quickly check that cubby and notify her. So, as I was saying, it sounds like there's going to be playoffs that go from open to intermediate to main to advanced. And if you're an open team that can make it all the way through those playoffs, all the way up into the advanced playoffs, then you can technically earn VRS. But more likely, what you're looking for is promotion.
What does that mean? If I am in open right now and I have a team and if I win open, do I then play in advanced playoffs too? Maybe we'll put a feather in that cap. I don't know if I'm quite understanding you correctly. That's wild. Honestly, kind of cool.
Oh,
Magic swinging out. Fox with the double kill. Time to get her involved.
Yeah, we'll get the VRS podcast out later. For now, game time, because it's a buy round and it's already a bully of a round with a 2-for-2 trade right off the head. Looks like that's going to send Wanted Goons scurrying over toward Cat. Yeah, it's still going to be an A maneuver here for Wanted Goons, but Fox locking down long is going to give Wanted Goons another thing to think about, but strafing on by, it's going to be Constantine and Killer Pandas combined together to make sure that she's not going to be getting any more kills. Now BB appearing from Cat to even things up once again. And it's bombed down in the 2 versus 2 situation.
I like this decision just to pivot it immediately. Decide the poise up to Catwalk. Up to Long, excuse me. Vanessa just to walk by. And now making contact, swinging out wide. It's going to be both of these players. And with the amount of util, you may assume you might be chucking for that, but it's no Molly. It's no HE that will be up to the bomb sites. You've just got to find the shots. And BB, no kit as well. No kills coming easily. We'll see Goons finding a 3rd round. But that was just about as good of a retake as they could have sent after, unfortunately, losing Fox, not finding anything on the Cat hit.
Yeah, starting off even and with nothing on the site to try to pincer in the Goons. It was, I'm not going to say a dead retake. You know, there's always that chance that you land the fated shot, but just a rough series of events for Flyquest Red, and now they'll be back down to a hero scout for Dust2 for Fox, and the rest of the squad going to be bringing in upgraded pistols, which Marie's is going to be first to get flattened here. Oh, the spot for Killer Pandas. He could do so much. Gets caught with a nade out, though, and Emmy will put him down. Well, it's a big piece to find for Flyquest Red, but Goons, that's the go button for them. They'll be on site already, minute 20, and that bomb is going to be going down. We can see Magic planting that. Oh.
Real good peeks up. Feb getting into it. Magic getting pushed out. Fox gonna sprint away. I assume they're gonna be right after her. They will. Feb will find a 4th. It's that same amount of players that stay alive for Goons.
Yep. Fox trying to hold on to the scout or maybe look for a saver, but again, the site, I mean, on the pistols, it's just going to fall pretty quickly. So, you know, Flyquest Red stacking everybody off the site, looking for the retake. At least they take a weapon away. And now is going to be the big one. Flyquest Red need to stop the bleeding or this game is going to very quickly slip away from them. And there's a couple of players getting in toward B very early on. Molotov on over to try and keep them away, but I don't think they were that interested in entering. Killer Panda's AWP nearly finds Vanessa. The leg shot is going to weaken her up severely. But Smoke will cause a pause button for Goons to start to pull a few more players into position.
Wondering if this is just keeping everybody in place for this middle to be. That's exactly what it's going to look like. Feb up top is the one in that group I would be worried about, and that's actually Febreze. Full name. I don't know if you knew that, Floofies. That's a little bit of a fun fact for you. It coming out. I don't know why they shortened it. Because they're currently pretty well on this site.
Well, some good heads-up play being played by Flyquest Red as Goons enter into the site. They lose most of the team. They do get the bomb down, but this 2 versus 3 is what feels like the most winnable we've seen from an afterplant by Flyquest Red. Emmy going to get that molly into the cubby, into the back of sight, and it's going to be Marie to clean up. So Flyquest Red finally will find themselves on the board with a very expensive round, but one that could lead to granting a foothold into this half.
You're going to get one more buy along before you can finally kind of breathe a little bit from that. That's a nice round victory. You can hold it in the B site. And as threatening as this Goons team looks on paper, I mean, this season they've been doing pretty well, up to 8-4. Right? I mean, that's, I would think, locked into playoffs. Okay, you said 7 earlier, right now it's fighting for seeding.
Ooh, big push out long, though.
Let's
There's going to be a battle. Emmy,
that's a
Marie
great start.
Start this one off with 2. Fox joining in, and the long push has been completely rebuffed here. Flyquest Red took them a few rounds, but finally send enough forces to fight Goons. We'll send this push back over to the B-bomb site.
Straight into Vanessa. I think is going to have BB just within rotating distance here momentarily. Going to see this on the boost. Vanessa is going to find that clean. Second player here is swinging out with the op. And Killer Pandas will get dropped right after that. Killer Pandas, excuse me. But I can barely spit it out myself.
Well, that might be it. That's not going to completely shut down Goons' bank account, but it looks like they don't want to go for the full buy on just a 2-round loss bonus. So it is just going to be the upgraded pistols for Goons and an opportunity for Flyquest Red to really even this one out. 2-4. Oh, but it's going to be a big old B rush. And if Vanessa doesn't have some help, I worry that these pistols might be too much for her, but they divert. The Molly causes them to rethink the quick push over to B, so going to be a little bit more firepower here in mid. Ooh, there we go. Magic. Oh, everybody out into BB's M4.
Swing up
top.
Getting
involved
Get a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Normal in-game leader, I think. Febreze DC'd. Absolutely did crash or something there to show a little bit of mercy. That's a bit comical. I think we're going to roll into a tech pause here. And I told you, Floofies, that I had some fun new Marie lore, at least fun new to me Marie lore, that I think maybe not everybody else will be aware of. Early on in her career, she actually got to play in a very cool show match at the Blast Premier Fall Finals in 2023, where she played on the stage for Team Denmark. And that team accompanied Bubsky, Magisk, ESEA, and Kirby. Some names you don't really hear too often anymore.
Whoa.
Maybe Bubsky on the desk besides Magisk playing. What, is ESEA still competing? Am I wrong?
ESEA.
We got to double check on that.
The reason I remember ESEA was he had the best sticker in Rio 2022.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were going to like lean into the memes for a sec. That's cool too.
But like KRB is a name I haven't heard in a long time, and I was like, wait, does he still play? Like he lives on in Counter-Strike, I know that at least, but because like he'll just show up on that every so often. It's always funny to be like, I don't know who to put KRB for my first answer. He's got lots of fun letters in his name. There's a J in there.
I believe KRB is actually like some sort of chiropractor now. Like, and speaks about it on social media. I believe Bubsky is retired from competing. Obviously, like I said, he's been a part of some of those Blast broadcasts. Maybe anecdotally, I feel like I haven't seen him on those in a minute. But as a guy that, like, you know, elephant in the room, had a big contract like blunder, not really his or his agent's fault if you kind of like know the details, like with Astralis. And I think that was like a big precedent case within at least our scene of Counter-Strike to kind of show how it's important to kind of have those player rights and respects within the organization and those contracts, as that seemed to be a problem with a couple of Astralis talent through the years. And I think, you know, Bubsky the most notable. So to put it lightly. But it was a fun second team, if we want to go back to maybe talking about something happier, that did have a little bit of NA heart for it. They had Elige on, it was the dream team. I can't remember what I accidentally told you it was. I think I told you it was team like EU or something, but it was Elige, Head Trick, Alexi B, JL, and then you'll never guess this, Hobbit.
That is so, that's such a left CCT turn. I'm player. So confused. I know Hobbit's a CCT player.
He's also a major champ.
I mean, I know he was Outsiders, right? But I remember him more as a C9 player. I don't know.
Gambit, baby.
Oh my gosh, yes, Gambit. The org that we don't get to have anymore because current events redacted.
Online Counter-Strike. What an era. This is online.
This is online. It's funny because I think Bibian has like a single-digit ping, and Marie has a 3-digit ping, which is always a little bit amusing. Oh, double smokes over to CT. Got to make sure that that's thoroughly covered. One of Goons will head back up to Cat. Good molly, though. That's going to push away Flyquest Red and catches Emmy in transition away. Killer Pandas with 2. So, you know, take over Cat and now pull over some curious cats from the B-bomb site. Problems. Yeah, we've all been there.
Tab back in. Fab walks back. I think that just may have been another accident. Vanessa coming to clear middle. If only he just stayed untabbed. That could have been a free kill for Vanessa. Sees middle empty. Just going to be up to Fox. He's going to see that little bit of utility, but unfortunately doesn't read the flank for it, so that's going to be a free kill for Magic, and one of Goons find a 5th round.
Yep. I mean, those catches on Cat were just, it was such a good movement over from the Molotov and be like, wait, she stayed in that just a second too long. She's probably still backing away. So a good couple of pickups for Killer Pandas and just snowballed around off of that. I mean, Goons have been playing these early rounds really well, and that's part of why they're so ahead at the moment. The long plays have been great from them, and I mean, they've really kept Flyquest Red. They've suffocated the amount of space they're actually able to get on the map pretty well.
I believe you got a legit timeout stepping in. Got to hear from Frack on the mic, and also Shakes Dula for their respective teams. You can just hear the grin across my face.
Oh yeah, no, you're super happy to be talking about these guys. I'm teasing. Look, Counter-Strike is not the same dating game that Valorant is, but you can definitely still make friends. There is also a post on the horrible social media that apparently cute guys play Counter-Strike. And I'm going to hold on to that.
I do.
I'm way too old for that, but
we play Counter-Strike, floofies. What I'm talking about. Big point proven, personally.
Hey, maybe your date is just waiting one team away. See, I should have saved this material for the Valentine's Day stream. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now I've got it.
Yeah, wait till next year. Love is still very much in the air, though.
Ooh,
Emmy with that kill on the Constantine.
Start this one off.
Killer Pandas will have that trade.
You know what? I'm gonna make sure I clip that. That's a good quote. Maybe your duo is just one team away. Well, once again, Goons pressurizing on Cat, and it's going to be a one-pronged attack. Fox going to have to be sharp on this one because she has not a whole lot available to rotate on over, and it's going to be the first player out. Magic, the tip of the spear with the headshot. Goons now just going to take over the A site. There's nothing stopping them, and even though there's not a whole lot of time left on the round, Flyquest Red at this point, 3 players remaining, they just have to save. There's no way back into this.
Yeah, that's going to be a spot that Fox is going to want to have back. It's just an unfortunate look from a really deadly peak. I've won a Goons team that is looking really efficient so far on this T side. Here they are putting up 6. But here are also Flyquest keeping their line high economically. They're looking to get out with all 3 players in this, worrying about the in-game leader. It's Marie that does get caught. I believe that's Feb's second in the round. Bomb goes off as BB and Vanessa, I think, will save. Somebody sprinting up right behind, and BB will just hold the 1 and then saved by the bell.
Especially that Fox loss there by Carr, I think, is a situation we've all kind of been in. The calm, waiting for the storm, knowing that there's somebody about to peak, but just kind of, you know, your eyes glaze over for just a second, or you glance over at the map while trying to think of, like, where could they be coming from, and just that's the moment, that's the timing, and yeah, just a rough series of events for Flyquest Red. Now they're looking to Bring it back to a 6-6. Not an easy task. Although the one of Goons player sitting inside the smoke getting tagged up. Magic nearly dead. Oh, the nade lands on him, but it's Emmy to finally clean him out of the sight. And a player advantage for Flyquest Red. This time, Fox gonna catch the timing on Cat.
I think even directly, but chase down through B, and that's just gonna be a risky maneuver. Try to chase that frag out of upper tunnels, but really no choice. You gotta look to finish this play. Flyquest holding so strong and sturdy in this B site, surviving with 4, as that's exactly what Flyquest find.
It's a lot like when Flyquest are able to get that proactive first kill, the round kind of falls into place. And when they're forced to trade out and play down a few players, then the rounds kind of get awkward. So, and we'll see if they can do it's. But just from watching a lot of their games, it's just if that first player goes down, a lot of things can end up going awry for them. Oh, I like that Molotov over by Blue. Emmy now trying to catch these players out long. Smoke to suppress that. Feb with the trade. Ooh, Marie, though, going to make this a 2-for-1 in the flavor of Flyquest Red. Managing to back away, too. That is huge.
Not sure if Marie's going to get flashed in or is waiting for the contact. I think Marie and Fox are to just walk this slowly. It's the missed shot, so everybody's just going to pounce on this. It's actually that Glock that finds one kill. Fox flicks back, spotted off the catwalk. Now there's only a difference of 1 in this Dust2. First half coming to a close, you can see a tie.
Yeah, I think a tie on CT side is pretty good. I think that Dust2 can lend itself to be a little bit T-sided, just because, again, there's so many good choke points to smoke off as the T's as you're attacking. So I don't know stats-wise how it's hanging right now, but I mean, the mid-door peak is another one where it's just like it's so risky on CT, you could just end up already dead 2 seconds into the round. Now this time the long peak is a bit of a nothing burger for Flyquest Red. One of Goons choosing to give that one up, so Fox is up mid, has a lot of work to do in the first couple of shots. Not going to be connecting.
So close to it. A lurk that's going to be a little bit criminal if you ask me. Just spotting Marine. This is going to make her panic, force her to go back to her duo, and it's a molly that's going to lock off Fox. This is a really good read right now from wanting Goons mid-round to take this space with really not necessarily having to go through these fights. They just read where Fox rotated, and now Constantine has found BB. That's 1 out of 2 players a part of this long setup, and this is going to be a really difficult retake for Flyquest.
4 versus 5. Fox already tagged way up, down on low HP. Emmy flattened. Magic with a double. Johan going to clean this one up with a double as well. It's one of Goons going to close this one out 7-5. Now we see if they can finish the work on CT or if Flyquest Red will come back into this. What I will say is just the individuals for Flyquest Red, it does feel like there's been a good couple of plays. I mean, Fox, obviously we saw hitting those shots pretty sharp, but I don't know. Sometimes the defense, even if you can get a pick, is rough on Dust2.
Yeah, there was a couple of these that, like, she's just a pixel or 2 off of. But I know she's going to be kicking herself for. It's a high standard that Fox will keep on that op. That's a good problem to have, in my opinion. Got to see the second pistol flying the way of Flyquest. That will be an easy way to get themselves into the second half comfortably. Walking up a catwalk with that utility, more importantly. And only 3 faces seen here. It's going to be the split up A. One of Goons also shift along, so Flyquest is going to get the fight, but not at Cat. Emmy hopping to it. they're going to be audibly aware of this. Emmy's so close, but it's Fox long range. Just keeping themselves up. Fox with a great double kill on that P250.
Yeah, the double entry steamrolling their way out long and giving so much space to work on Cat as well. So now, Goons, it looks like it's just going to be, well, they're going to make their way back on A the same way Flyquest Red did. A couple of players, Cat and one long. Fox already set up, waiting for Constantine. Meanwhile, Magic and Feb trying to attack from Cat, but they're going to get flattened. And Fox here cleans up with a triple. Cleans up nice. And it's going to be, what's the score line?
Oh, goodness gracious.
It's
We'll
7-6.
be 6 to
I don't
7.
know what you're talking about.
Flyquest trying to push this one back. They are just down by 1 now, but I got my wish. They get a pistol. Right to put that away. We'll see if you're going to get that idea back from Wanted Goons. And I believe it's still Magic calling on this. Magic, a player that's been about everywhere. Used to play in Europe. I remember we were all hanging out last year in Philly, you and I, in March at Frag... I was about to say Blocktober. What was that one? Oh, goodness. Block something. I think it was just Frag X Block.
I think it was.
What that land was called. Besides, we had our boy M&J come out and hang out with us. And I
Hold the phone here.
Goes,
Fox
oh,
about
I
to be
know this
challenged.
Magic guy. I played with him in Europe, and then an entire kind of like wealth of knowledge was given to me about that type of player. It's also Killer Pandas and Febreze that I've seen. I remember seeing Febreze back on the All Gas No Break days, where it'll actually be SGX that'll know them from that as well. So you have a fun connection there.
That is pretty cool. The one thing I remember from M&J from Frag X Block was he, the building right next to the block local host where Frag took place is literally address 322.
I know exactly what you're
and
about to
everyone's
say.
looking at that like, the 322 was always in North America. Me over here that, any chat I have mod in, if somebody types 322 and nothing else in their message, I'm just like, go get a personality. You don't have a real personality. Go outside.
That's there you go.
And then I ban them. So they can't respond.
I was going to say, put that hammer down first. But you know what to do. First, Flyquest gun round. We got Fox, Krieg. I like your style. All tied up. Got to see Flyquest take control of this second half. Got to see what Marie on this IGL is like. I'm excited to see it.
Again, she's had some fairly good games with this Flyquest squad. You can see on the scoreline they are up for the season. They're 6-5, I think, right now. And so it's... Uh-oh. That's not where you want that. They mollied us, guys. They mollied us. Definitely wasn't my own. Oh, this is going to be big here. Beyond spots the players, boosted up. That means there's 2 inside a CT, and Flyquest Red is just unable to locate any of these. It's Feb going huge here with a double, and one of Goons pincer in towards mid. It's just as Flyquest Red arrive, they'll be flanked out and busted out, as now it's just Vanessa in the 1 versus 4, and one of Goons have made their way out to make sure that she doesn't have any access outside of Tons. One of Goons will take that lead right on back on the first buy round here, and that's about as bad as it could go.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just stops up in the middle. It was a really nice setup that they had there around the smokes that Flyquest were trying to set. And feel around that. Tell exactly where one of Goons were pushing back from. However, when they found out, it was too dang late. Gotta go for that 3 versus 5. Just not going to provide that same feeling, Floofies. A little bit of a timeout. Like I said, you're going to hear from old Shake and Bake Zula, I think is what I was about to say. And I fumbled my words.
It's amusing.
Jeez.
The couple of games where Shake has had to step in have been some of his top fragging games. So it's funny to be like, yeah, coach still got it.
No, he's a goated gamer. He's a goated gamer. I mean, KMZ, the guy that they had on this roster before Wanted Goons made a change. I mean, he'd been playing for that long. He played with like B-Wills, Fang, and Cynic. on GGPR, like played in a couple of those interesting teams right when Shake was competing. I mean, honestly, right now, this current boss iteration can learn a thing or two about the antics of that Bad News Bears team. But I digress. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Killer Pandas, Magic, just about everybody in the mix. Killer Panda's going to go for 2. Apparently likes to farm up a couple of ecos. Wanted Goons find a 9th.
Look, I've been asking around who owns Bad News Bears, who owns Party Astronauts, who owns Extra Salt. We've got enough players coming back into this game that we could get those teams back. We really could. Peter's playing again. I mean, not that we want to lose Shake as the coach for Flyquest.
I've seen that. He was playing Pugs with Wolf. I've seen on stream. He was playing Pugs with Wolf.
Peter's been playing with Flom. Adren's playing again, at least in the mornings. He's playing Premier.
Okay, maybe Junior I'm not watching the popular
playing FPL. Like, it feels like the gang is back in town. I've been watching Adren, thank you very much.
Ah, yes. Hope he is doing well. Love to see him get back in coaching seat after that whole shindig at Complexity broke down.
R.I.P. Nouns.
Love to see Munster as an assistant coach. Just saying, best in the world. Big Nade coming through.
Oh,
Let's
that
be
hurts.
Getting tagged. Meaning?
I know. I just that Nade did a lot of damage.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a coach comment.
No, I'm
swing out.
To watch the game. Oh,
yeah.
Trade here for Marie. Killer Panda's very entrenched. What's the plan now? You got the kill log. One of Goons, we can see on the minimap they're starting to cycle some players in. Make sure that Flyquest Red can't take advantage of this opening. Doesn't look like they've left any holes in the defense. So once again, it's not going to be up to the timing or the speed. It's going to be up to, can you get those picks? Goons making sure to go in pairs, make sure to give themselves the option to trade. So this is cool. Marie, rather than throwing the smoke from long, she throws it up close. So one, you don't have to do a lineup. And two, it gives so much less time for Goons to react to this. And with 3 players now available for Flyquest Red, they've got themselves into a pretty neat little afterplant to wait for Goons, who big cat presence.
Flyquest holding on to this. And just how far they are in the bomb site, a player at Goose at default, it's going to take some time to just make this retake happen, but look at how quick this Goons team are moving. Fox tries to flick out back to long doors, but in less than 22 seconds left on this bomb, it's Goons with a successful retake, and that gives them access to double digits first, Floofies.
And not only is it going to give them double digits, but it is going to break the bank of Flyquest Red once again. It's in a fair couple of rounds, but that full buy going down the tubes means back down to upgraded pistols. And on Dust2, that's a sad place to be. You know what it's always a good place for is the delayed B pop, which is exactly what we're getting here. 2 players on the B bomb site, and they've already opened this one up. Double kill to try and rebuff this, but Vanessa still holding strong from within, waiting for the timing, and she'll catch it onto Feb. So a 2 versus 3 will unfold here. Flyquest Red on the site. They will have the bomb in their possession, but the Molotov's coming in from Goons. It's taking so much time to prevent off of the actual plant itself. And the HP of Vanessa, they need to get the bomb down, but Goons aren't giving them a second to breathe, and Johan and Killer Pandas are going to crunch on in and blast on down. Goons on 11, just 2 points away from victory.
And now you're sort of in final drive territory for Flyquest, where they're actually able to manage. It's their final gun round. bit by bit. It's going to be a hard eco if you kind of lose off of this. Force buy, whatever you're going to have to pull up with. Fox sees head passing towards the no info into Magic, who tucks himself into lower, though.
Yeah, it is a good place to be. Oh, Magic might just catch this. No, not quite. Vanessa able to get the drop. Emmy waiting in double doors, but Johan just gonna walk right through and blast her.
That's NACS at its finest. Straight through the smoke, takes the headshot.
Uh-oh.
Now gotta chase him out. A really bold trade by Marie. Fab on the corner, keeping that up to a one-on-one. Fox back to it. One flick on the corner, and that's Fox adding a great double kill to it. Flyquest dominate out in round 18. And that's what you just wanted to see. Honestly, it's a breath of fresh air. That's a round that they just get to frag out in.
Yeah, that worked out. I mean, that was one of those, all of the timings just kind of randomly hitting one after another. That's the one that you're like, dang, I should unbox a case after this because that was so lucky. But, I mean, maybe not luck.
Don't gamble.
Overstepping a little bit, but just everything kind of fallen into place there. And so now it's just one round away from Flyquest Red breaking the economy of Goons, spotting the players on top of Cat. That's some good info to relay back, but that nade, oh my goodness, Bibian. Ouch.
Like, was still given access to lower, though. And denying the push at upper. Vanessa sends a firm warning. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that Goons kind of take it that likely for how much we've seen them commit in this game. But they don't want to just give it over to Flyquest for free. They just saw how fierce they can truly be, especially on these pop plays, of which they're going to see another flooding into this B site. The entries are going to be coming easily, but Constantine is just going to flood out. Emmy just spins and gets that kill, and Johan takes one on the spam.
3 versus 3. Once again, a defensible position, especially on this B-bomb site. Op on Killer Pandas trying to make its way in. But Goons, they're taking their sweet time on this retake. They don't have a whole lot of utility left to speak of, so they've got to use it carefully. They've got to get in carefully. And now here's Feb at double doors. First one in, first one to die. Horse Girl, or Marie, set up here quite well. Johan up on top of boxes, but it's going to be Killer Pandas knocked down to the 1 versus 1. Bibian, oh, can't quite catch the final kill, but the timing killer for Goons biting them in the butt here as the bomb goes off, even as they do manage to get the kills.
That's a really excellent. That's a great point to pull it away, Floovies. I thought economically, I kind of paused there mentally for a second because I'm like, wait, aren't they supposed to be on an eco? They've had a little bit add up to this point. Goons aren't going to be seeing, a sentiment of that threat. That would be terrible at this point. You got to give up 10, able to pull up to like maybe a half buy at best. But this is like essentially what they're going to be looking at for the rest of this game. Is this sort of force mentality just to get right out of here? They seem to be just right on the cusp. It's another timeout we go through.
Another timeout. This time it's going to be Goons emerging Oplus, which is fantastic for Flyquest Red. As much as casters, it's good to be to not have a bias. I feel like on the Flyquest Red stream, we do have to have a little bit of a bias. I see as Life's a Game showing up in chat, as players from Foxtrot showing up in chat.
Wow, we got like the whole NACS community in here. What's up, guys?
Look.
And your respective social media managers behind the accounts. We know who we are.
Oh, here we go. Wait, big push into the B-bomb site. And, Constantine with the first catch beheads Bibian. But a good trade from Vanessa will keep things at least on an even keel here as Marie charging in, surging over. Fox on low HP. She's going to be caught through the door. Killer Pandas.
Did the smoke miss?
With the catch.
It had to.
I think it did.
I think it's just far miss. That's a little bit concerning. But devil in the details, might have hit a Molotov. 2v2, they have to hold it on an interesting line because Bree's going to have to plant this bomb. A tap. Got to see if there's going to be the take. And Emmy sees a whole lot right now. There's space outside the window and door, but not anymore. Marie now going to have to go and choose correctly in the clutch. They're both going to swing through doors and overwhelm the Danish player.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a tough spot to watch, right? If you don't hit that first bullet and get the kill, you're kind of hosed. And with 2 players peeking into door, that's going to be painful. And now that's going to leave us to 12-9. Goons knocking on the door of victory, and Flyquest Red with a sizable comeback ahead of them.
It's doable, especially on Dust2, and you can kind of make it go your way with a couple of these B pops. It's been a pretty nice game so far, and where am I focused? Watching how these players are walking into lower tunnels, I'm missing all the action. It's Fox that's going to be taking Killer Pandas through the door.
Yeah,
they got to pounce on Cat right now. BB takes that kill.
Sometimes the scout is not the weapon you want, but it's the one you deserve. And just because it's not what you want doesn't mean it won't serve you. 4 versus 3. Flyquest Red getting stalled up a little bit, as now they have to figure out what's the next plan of action. No smoke for CT. That's not going to stop Emmy. Just walks in and beheads Magic, looking for more. Feb going to be up on top of these boxes close to window as Flyquest Red start to knock on the door of this B-bomb site, but they're going to have to do it through main, and it works out well. Vanessa with a trade brings this one to a 3 versus 1. Constantine just left holding the op over in double doors on A long.
You know, it's not going to be this
Really
opening kill from Fox that's completely repeatable, Floofies. She could probably get a tag, you know, pretty consistently. Maybe every other round. Who knows how far she can hit home on that tally. But it is this sentiment of, like, activating really well to the aggression on Catwalk that you can praise. And that Flyquest can take a little bit further than just this one round. Up to double digits. Now you actually do legitimately have concern monetarily. You're just going to be rocking with Constantine and probably pistols and armor, one would assume. If not the entire full buy.
I do have some idea of why so many people are showing up in chat tonight. You said that it was all of NACS, and I'm here like, well, we're the last game of one of the last games of tonight. Also, so okay, real quick, a quick poll in chat. Press 1 if you're waiting for one or more of these players to be done so that you can pug with them. Press 2 if you're here because you want to watch Flyquest Red. And plus 3 if you're here for one of the casters or production.
Yeah! Yeah. Better be 3.
I figured there was going to be at least one in there.
You know, a lot of 2s and 3s? Okay!
Hey.
Okay! There we go!
We should probably commentate the round if people are here for us, though, because
I guess so.
stuff going on. There's like a push into T-spawn. There, Flyquest Red as on B site. Never mind. Goons are saving.
That heart was for you guys, chat. That heart was for you guys. That's lovely. Oh, what wonderful timing. I guess we can go back to Yapping
I like
now.
that the first number to show up was 1. It's like, yes, I'm here waiting for somebody to pug with. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these ESEA streams end up like that sometimes. It's just like, I gotta wait for my friend's ESEA game to be over. That was a cool little jumping shot, though.
Nobody is saving anything. Flyquest focus on getting all the way to OT. And Fox is gonna get her up. I think where they would have been able to afford it anyway, but She'll take Killer Panda Zop any day of the week. This is a nice role that Flyquest have seen already. They can carry out the rest of this Dust2. This is interesting. Gonna get Fox right up top of it.
Yep, she saw a player
Not
get into
seen
lower.
on the check. Wow.
Bad timing. Bad early round timing, but man, this is as close as it gets. All 24 in an ESEA game. Are we getting overtime?
Tell me I'm the lucky charm. Please. No, but genuinely,
Johan
with
getting
playoffs
tucked in
coming
once
up,
again.
Floofies, you know you're
I know.
getting this
Hey.
far up. It's got to be playoff quality Counter-Strike. And that's what you're getting.
It's gotta be.
Are we going to get to OT, though? That's the question. Fox looking on
mean,
the corner, clearing that close wall. What a swing by Emmy back. Would have loved to see her POV. That must have been a hell of a shot, but we're not out of the woods yet. But Vanessa might help us get there. It's one shot that she's going to pick up, but the retake is already online on Cat, and Magic isn't going to wait for anybody. He's got that Molotov that's going to go deep into Goose. He's trying to bait this swing into Vanessa, who instead of swinging takes the entire molly herself.
That hurts. I'm
They're
used to
swinging
Fox
off
being
it.
the flammable one, but here comes Magic, just casting spells up Cat. Emmy, it's double of trying to go for the plant, but they are gonna be walking away from this, so it is gonna be Emmy in the 1 versus 2. She's had some fantastic games so far this season. Can she pull it off one more time to bring us to overtime, to bring Flyquest Red into playoff contention? She's going to hold on to this M4 as the Wanted Goons start to walk past the cross, picks up the AK, a couple of bullets out. There goes the flash as Wanted Goons make it up to sight, and Magic will continue casting spells and continue with the magic as Wanted Goons will take this one 13-11 off of a great triple kill. Wanted Goons, they'll bring it up to even better playoff contention and unfortunately knock Flyquest Red down to a 6-6 scoreline.
Yeah, I'll be real with you. I definitely am not gonna like hold back. I think we should be in OT right now. That was a 3 versus 2 just there at the end. I mean, you can see even the slightest mistake cost you all that work that you were trying to push your way to OT. Like I said, I mean, that found itself an even better spot. You were sitting at, I believe it was 11-7, 12-7, if I'm remembering correctly. A really good point where Flyquest got to push this game back. And you get almost all the way. A really good individual performance and maybe even a shaky start for Fox. So I think it could have been maybe even a little bit better. I think well called out of Marie. Excuse me, I can barely spit it out. This was pretty well played by all of Flyquest. Even where, like I said, I'm calling like Fox with maybe like missing a shot or two. That's like what bar I'm setting. I'm not calling out any sort of, you know, nonsense like that. It's what Flyquest got out to was a really rough start, you know, handed to them by this Wanted Goons project to close and show their quality in the end. They're looking like a threatening team coming into playoffs, which does make me happy. I think that it should be this core improving and looking really good and being a really threatening force here in advanced and probably a playoff team that's pushing top 8.
Yeah, Wanted Goons are looking really, really good. But I think that's it. I mean, hey, you kind of said it all already, so I think no need for me to repeat it.
Shout out to
I will
Frack.
just say, hey, GG's to Wanted
Coach.
Goons. Commiserations to Flyquest Red. Do you have any other call-outs you want to finish off with?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if we're going to be rocking with Constantine or J-Dubs. I could be a little bit behind on that knowledge, but I could also speak to my friends over there on the Wanted Goons. Either way, I think this is a fun roster put together with that core 4 added, you know, kind of exchanging that 5th. I think they're, you know, really looking like one of these teams, like I said, in advanced. I think that could push their way into Challenger League. And you know, I'd like to see an official against like a Regain, a Zomblers, an SBE, like against with like a you know, a project of this caliber, like kind of get their test there and like see how you shuffle it up. Like that's how you get through advanced, and then, well, you gotta physically have to get through advanced to sort of get into those games in Challenger League or wherever you'll be at the Dust2 Eagle Masters events. But you know, kind of see where they're hanging at team wise in that sense. I think it's an interesting Wanted Goons project. I'm always kind of pretty impressed with Killer Pandas. He always seems to have a pretty good game.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Killer Panda's highlight reel worthy moments in all of the times getting to see Wanted Goons, especially. So as we get toward the end of the ESEA season here, right? We're going to be getting into playoffs. Make sure you support your local streamers, making, watching the games. If the games aren't here on Flyquest Red, if they're somewhere else, you know, pop open Twitch, pop open the Counter-Strike category and see what you can find for ESEA, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great games, a lot of great Counter-Strike. And the best way to support, if you're not playing or you're not casting, is by watching. So make sure to support whatever teams you want. Make sure to support whatever streamers you want. And, we've got the playoffs coming in soon. We've also got Crossfire Season 4, which is slated to have VRS. We'll see if it actually happens. I think it's going to be up to a few powers that be, but with ESEA having VRS and Crossfire having VRS and Fragadelphia kind of returning to NA roots with all of the EU lands coming up and all of the EU teams going there, maybe North America is healing.
I would say yes. Slowly but surely, Floofies, we'll get our way there and to the end of the stream. That's where we are. I gotta give one more shout out though. That's of course to Logitech, one of the many beautiful names that makes this thing go, Floofies, over here on the broadcast especially. But I also want to thank you and Will for, keeping me on for the first game, or rather me hopping on for my first time, if I can spit it out myself. It was great to hop on. I miss Goose Breeder with all my heart, but I am loving this new iteration of the roster. I think Fox looks like an absolute superstar out here, and even for Sakura, I mean, Alice looked like a player that I think is different role-wise, style-wise on that op, plays a little bit differently, but gives Sakura a little bit different flair that I think puts them in a more interesting direction. Maybe not with Fox. We know she's one of the best players in the North American scene. Those are going to be big shoes to fill, but it'll be a different team, just like this one is without Goose Breeder, who we miss in Europe so very much, Floofies.
We sure do. But given we have done the shout out to Logitech, I think it is about time we say thank you to all the viewers for stopping by. And we've got an exciting week of games, so we will see you tomorrow.